I'm Nick Kassoff, the editor of the Ferguson Observer, and I'm here for a candidate interview with Phedra Nelson, who is running for City Council in Ward 1. Good afternoon, Phedra.
Good afternoon, Nick.
So, as I said, we're going to just have some basic general questions so people can get to know you a little bit better here.
Okay.
So, to start off with, how did you come to be a Ferguson resident and why have you stayed here?
Let's see. I came to be a Ferguson resident here because I actually work in Ferguson as well. I'm the Healthy Schools, Healthy Communities Wellness Director for the Gateway Region YMCA, but I am housed out of the Emerson location, which sits in the heart of Ferguson off of First Shell.
Yep, been there, taken a few showers, swam a few laps. Yep.
So yeah, I've been with the Emerson Family YMCA for over almost 20 years now.
Okay.
In various roles, I must say. I was the membership director for 10 years. And upon being the membership director, I have a membership and marketing director. Now I am the uh, community wellness, health and wellness director as well. So yeah,
So you've
yeah,
been
going on
part of
20
the
years now.
Ferguson community for a while, and you've chosen to stay here all these years. You got a good job. You could have moved somewhere else. And why did you choose
Um,
to stay here?
Well, I choose to stay here. Like I said, I worked here for 20 years. I've lived in Ferguson for just as long. Ferguson is my home, my community. My parents have both relocated to Ferguson. I have a 15-year-old twin niece and nephew who also lives in Ferguson. I went to high school in North County, so I went to St. Thomas Aquinas Mercy High
Okay.
School, which is now Trinity, which sat on the North County Christian location at one point.
Right.
And I also attended Florissant Valley Community College. I got my associate's degree from there in human services and continued my education at Fontbonne University to get my bachelor's of arts in human services as well.
Interesting. Okay. So tell me your three favorite things about Ferguson.
My three favorite things about Ferguson. Well, I often tell people that what I love about Ferguson and everything that I do, I live, work, and play in Ferguson. Big volunteer here in Ferguson. I sit on the Ferguson Parks and Recs Board uh, for the city of Ferguson. I volunteer monthly on several committees, the Ferguson 5K Run Committee, which I've been on that committee since its began. I'm also a 2019 Neighborhood Leadership Fellows graduate. I also was the chairperson for the North County Counts Complete Census Committee. And so I make sure that I do all my spending in Ferguson. I totally support all of our businesses in Ferguson, I'm sorry,
We've got
as
some
well.
great businesses here, to be sure.
Yes, we do. So I definitely make sure that I patronize all of our businesses from our popcorn to our Kathy's Kitchen, Reds, the Ferguson Brew House. So, I mean, I really like to stay within my community and not have to drive way out to St. Charles or Chesterfield to
Yeah,
get
it's a
groceries.
wonderful thing. I remember one time I actually walked home from the airport. How crazy is that?
Did you really?
But it's not very far, and that's one of the things I love about Ferguson. Yeah, like you said, you don't have to be driving all over the place like people out in St. Charles and other places. So that is a wonderful thing,
Yeah,
definitely. And
I find
and I
that
do
to be
love the
so.
5K. We gonna have a 5K this year.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
Fantastic, fantastic. So uh, I know it was hard to narrow it down to such a few things because there's so many wonderful things about Ferguson. So let's turn in another direction and let me ask you, what are your three least favorite things about Ferguson?
My three least favorite?
If you had to
Mm,
complain about three things, what would they be?
well, my top complaint would be some of the safety concerns, neighborhood stabilization issues such as the streets and how some of them are just not in the best condition at all. There tends to be a lot of speeding going on throughout Ferguson on certain streets, and
There is. There is.
that tends to bother me the most. Um, is yeah, the speeding that I see and how things are getting more and more. I don't know, and I'd like to see us have the adequate amount of police officers in our city as well, so we can help keep folks safe and keep things stable for everybody. So that's
I think everybody can agree with that. I've seen more snapped telephone poles in the last few years. It's
yes,
just mind blowing.
yes,
And
and I'm seeing a lot more of those lately. A lot.
right,
Yeah,
and you got to be moving pretty heavy to snap a telephone pole.
yeah,
Yeah,
and we're seeing it a lot.
it's
All up on
crazy.
people's grass, destroying signage property on property.
Yep.
It's really getting a little out of hand. So
It was a kid crashed through the side of an apartment building down on Chambers about a year ago.
yeah,
And I came by there afterwards, and I'm like, the guy who lived in the apartment said he was sitting in his living room when the young man came through the side of the building.
yeah, I
Wow.
remember that. That
That's
was Nantucket Garden Apartments. I remember
yes.
that.
Yep.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
frightening.
very.
Yeah.
And we're still having some issues right in that area as well.
Yeah.
A couple
It's
of telephone poles have been literally knocked over. Signage again, not
yeah,
completely driven
it's
over.
crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Okay.
So
Well, closely related to those questions, what would you say our city government is doing the best?
let's see. Our city government is doing the best at, I think, trying to, uh, uh, and I hope that they continue to just try to make sure that the there's open dialogue between the residents and the city of Ferguson. I know that I attend all the council meetings as much as possible, and sometimes those council meetings get a bit um,
Contentious?
okay. Let's go with that.
I
Let's go with contentious,
mean,
and
it's the
I
public
really,
arena, so that's the way it
yeah.
goes sometimes.
But we're gonna have to, we want to make sure that we're a community that brings everybody together to make sure our community stays better and continues to be that way. So we have to work with one another and and and
Sure.
be respectful of one another uh, is a big part of that. I want to see our council and our mayor be able to continue to move Ferguson forward in the right direction. You know, it's terrible that we had to make the news the way we made the news, but people are still watching us, and I know there's still a lot of folks out here who are still feeling a little hopelessness, and where we need to have everything be equal and equity for everyone in the city, no matter what ward they live in. So
Right?
I think
Right?
making sure that all the dialogue is always open, we're being transparent with everyone, and making sure that we have a city that works for everyone.
Indeed.
That's the main thing.
Okay. And on that same note, at this moment, and I'm not talking about in the past, but at this moment, what would you say is our city government's greatest failure?
Mm. Our city government's greatest failure.
Because you're on council, you're going to have to be dealing with that, right?
Right, but yeah, I mean, I think that there's so many things that are aligned to for our city that we have to work on. I know we have a 2040 master plan that they have coming up that's part of that consent decree and all those things. And I think if we, like I said, if the city government would just stay transparent about everything that's going on within our city and making it better for everybody, I mean, there shouldn't be any problems. We would hope that there wouldn't be. I know that there are, but if we're staying transparent and making sure that we are building everybody up together, and making sure that the government, our officials that we have in place, and our council and our mayor, holding everyone accountable for that, as well as the residents. So we have to hold each other accountable.
All right. And finally, what must the city of Ferguson do in the next year to succeed, and why are you the best person to make that happen?
I'm going to continue to say that keeping that open dialogue open with the residents as well. Um, I mean, as a as the community wellness director for the Y, I continue to make sure that I am being transparent and making sure that our city is successful by, excuse me, I'm sorry, by making sure that I've done plenty of work regarding the school district, Ferguson Florissant School District, with Samaritan Feet and providing shoes for different schools. The biggest project that I'm working on now is the Health and Park project, and I was able to get funding and a grant to be able to provide a park, Health and Park in the Third Ward of Ferguson, to have a playground. Purchased all the playground equipment, and we're in the process of getting that completed and working with the city. And it's been a really good partnership to be able to work with the city and get this park completed. Also, I connect with the city as well as far as the Unity weekend that they do every year. And it's going on, 5 years for me to be able to work with that project and be the co-chair of that, and making sure we have backpack giveaways and different things for our families and our youth in our community. So just me continue to be there on purpose and with purpose for the community. That's a big part for me.
Terrific. Okay. And finally, this video is about people getting to know you who may not have met you in real life, and we can't do the door-to-door like we like to because of the COVID. So anything else you'd like to say to people that are going to be watching this and want to know you a little better?
Just that Ferguson holds a special place in my heart because, like I said, I've lived out here for 19 years, and this is home for me. This is home for my parents. This is home for my niece and nephew. We love living in Ferguson. And I want everybody to feel comfortable in saying that they love where they live. And taking on responsibility for that and being held accountable for that where we live. If people are more than welcome to reach out to me. They can catch me on Facebook. Citizens for Phedra is my Facebook page. Of course, on all my information that's out, they can telephone me, and I'll be willing to talk about any concerns residents may have in Ward 1. Like I said, I'm here because I want to see this city, our city, be a city that works for everyone.
Terrific. Well, we've been speaking with Phedra Nelson, who is a candidate for Ferguson City Council, Ward 1. If you live in the ward, we hope you'll give her the consideration she deserves, and we will be having a candidate forum with all of the candidates as we get close to the election. That's going to be online live for everybody. So Phedra, I hope you'll join us, and I hope everybody who's watching this video will tune in and watch it. Thanks for being with us, Phedra.
Thank you so much, Nick, for this opportunity. I appreciate it.